links for the videos. I couldn't mail you, sorry. Okay, so can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
So, are you Abhilash or Ashish?
Abhishek.
Abhishek. Okay, sorry, Abhishek. Sorry.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I'll just copy it and give it to you. Okay, so these both are the links.
Sure.
Okay,
You're sending it through chat?
yeah, you can copy these. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I couldn't install the. I did it. I couldn't do yesterday's work at all.
Yeah, don't worry. You can watch these videos. Okay, and you
Yeah.
can start it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we'll be starting with, wait a second, I forgot to open the file. And yeah, so today we'll be discussing interfaces, okay, and
Yeah.
how to use them.
Okay.
Okay, so to start with that, let me tell
But
you.
in
Yeah,
future, if you are, it's it's it would be a waste if I'm getting the videos at this time, because then I cannot get prepare, like, okay, the second day it's not much, maybe it's okay, but
yeah,
for the future lessons, if you can set it, have it earlier, then I can go through and prepare for the lesson. Otherwise, I would be just listening, and then I don't know. Without practice, listening is not helping.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Actually, there was some internet issue, so we couldn't upload the videos.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was taking time to upload. So
Hope you resolved it. I mean,
yeah, it's solved now.
it won't
Okay.
happen for the
Yeah.
today's lesson. Yeah. Okay. No
Yeah.
worries.
So so where were we? Yeah,
Yeah.
Selenium. Okay. So yeah, this is our syllabus. So see, today we'll be discussing interfaces, need of interface and concept of interface. We'll be discussing interfaces only. Okay. So to start with that, I'll create a new project named as day 3. Okay. And say we create a new interface now. Sorry,
The class.
right now we'll start with class. Okay, dynamic browser. So this is something like, if see, we will not be
Abhilash.
using, pardon, we will not be using a single browser for testing. Like we might be using different browsers for testing a web app. Okay,
Yeah.
so we need to write code again and again for different browsers.
Mm-hmm.
Now for that, say let me add jar files also. Okay, so Java build path, add jars, and sorry, add external jars. Okay, and this client combined open and external jars libs open. Okay,
That's what I couldn't do. I couldn't do that.
okay,
So, should I do that for every class and
not for every class, for every project.
every project?
Yeah, you have to do this for every project. Okay, you have to go to properties, right click on project and project name, go to properties, go to Java build path here, go to libraries here, click on add external jars. Now go to the directory where you have stored Selenium jar files. So they would look like this. So you need to add this one, and then all the files in this folder, libs folder. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, right now I'll tell you one more thing. Right now, see, like if I try to open, say, Firefox driver, if I try to use Firefox driver. Okay.
Yes.
So see, right now, like it's showing me error. Let me start with the ft is equal to new Firefox driver. Okay. So right now, see, if I point over it, it is not suggesting me anything. Like it is not suggesting me the methods how I can use it, or how I can implement it. Okay. Now we cannot refer Java doc every time, to check how to use it. So the best method is to, go to Java docs. Okay, open this link, and now do one thing: copy this link, omit the index.html part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
and go to the Eclipse. Go to Eclipse again. Go to right click. Right click on the project. Go to properties, and now see, this is the main file of Selenium. So expand it. There is a option named Java doc. Click on
Mm-hmm.
edit and give paste that path here. The path you copied earlier, no?
Mm-hmm.
So after pasting it, just click OK, and now see the difference. Now it is suggesting me that I can use it like this. Firefox options equal to new Firefox options. I can use it with Firefox options, and see, it is suggesting me that yeah, this is the method I can use it. Okay. So now say not ft. I'll do one thing. I'll start with, now as we are doing fire like dynamic browser. So I'll declare a variable as string browser. Okay, and right now I'll say Firefox. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so currently my browser is Firefox. Okay, and now I'll create a condition like if like browser equal to browser dot equals, why it is not suggesting me, oh sorry, my bad. Yeah, browser dot equals, okay, and say Firefox.
Is that a keyword, browser, or is that the string?
It's a
Uh,
string.
is a
Okay,
string variable that you declare?
yeah, it's a string variable. I'll declare it as dynamic browser. It would be easy for us to understand.
But that's just the name.
Yeah, it's just a string. It's just containing the name of the browser we want to use. Okay,
Okay.
so
But it has properties too, that variable.
I'll tell you. Wait a minute. So what is happening around here? String string token expected after this token. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Let's see. Yeah, so it is showing me error here. Dynamic browser dot equals, and okay, and say if it is Firefox, then Firefox driver equals to new Firefox driver. Okay, and again we need to provide the system property here. So I'll just do one thing. I'll copy it. Okay, and the other thing right now we'll do this only. Okay, so else if say dynamic browser dot equals Chrome. Okay, so again if we say now if it's Chrome, then Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver, and system property again we'll copy it from here. Okay, so this is the system property for Chrome. Okay, and say the third browser, else if dynamic browser dot equals internet, sorry, IE only. Okay, so we start with that. We'll do one thing, and see we've declared Internet Explorer driver here and the system property for it. Okay, so what will happen here is now it will read that if the like dynamic browser is Firefox. Okay, then the code will execute for this line only. If the browser is Chrome, then it will execute for Chrome. Otherwise, if the browser name is enter IE, then it will execute for this one only. Okay, now let me see what has happened here. Okay, yeah, I forgot to change it. Driver. Okay, wait a second. uh, okay, so see, I'll move it here inside the main function only. Okay, so see, now when we run it, why it is showing me error again? Syntax error, token on this expected after this token. uh, Wait a second. Hello. Yeah,
Hello. Yeah.
yeah, I forgot to put a bracket here. Okay, so wait a second. Yeah, so like see, when we'll execute it, I don't know why it is okay. Yeah, I have not imported Internet Explorer driver here. Okay, so driver. Okay, now when we'll run this code, it will open Firefox driver. Wait a minute, it's taking some time. See, it has started opening Firefox now. Okay, it has started interacting with Firefox driver. Okay,
Yeah.
so in a minute or two, my system is a bit slow today. See, it has opened now. Okay, now like see, the code is bit long now. Like if you want to use different browsers, it is lengthy, and it like we cannot write this much code. Okay, so to avoid that, what we can do is we can use like interfaces. Okay, now see in the Java docs, all the interfaces are mentioned in italics. So this is the WebDriver interface. Now this is something like uh, this has some contents that every implementing class has to implement it. Like if it has three functions, okay, it has defined three functions, then the implementing class has to be forcibly like define those. Like yes, like I'll tell you how. So we'll what we'll do, we'll create a new class here, sorry, interface here. Okay, and name it as call. Okay, in it what we'll do, we'll declare one function, sorry, not call, we'll declare a new class named phone. That would be much better. Interface phone. Okay, so source folder, why it is not picking up the source folder? Don't worry, I'll do it again. Yeah, phone. Okay, now this is the interface, so we cannot use it directly. Okay, but say uh, it has two functions, that is
Is that sorry, I didn't see. Is that a class to
no,
declare?
no, it is an interface. Now I'll tell you the difference between class and interface. Just be with me. Okay, so it has one function call and say another function as recharge. Okay, so now to demonstrate it, I'll create a new class. Okay, now this class implements say Android Android phone. Okay, so this Android phone, now what I'll do is here it implements phone. Okay,
Yeah.
so now what happens is this class implements phone. Now see, it is saying me add unimplemented methods. Okay, so when I click here, see, it is overriding those functions, but these functions need to be implemented now. Like I mentioned those functions here, but this in this interface, now these functions have to be implemented by Android phone. Okay, so it's like any phone do you have, you can make calls. It makes sure that you can make calls. Okay, it is a basic functionality. You have you can, it allows you to send SMSs. Okay, so these two are the things that every phone has to do. You have to recharge your phone. So these things are that, like these things are common, and like we want to implement these things whether other things are like being implemented or not, but these things are mandatory. Okay, so say in this I just write, it just prints Android recharge. Okay, and in this it displays only Android, sorry, Android recharge was supposed to be here. okay, and Android call, okay, and say we create a new class again, and this time we call it as Apple phone or iOS phone, okay. So we're done with it, okay, and it implements phone, okay. Now again it is showing me to asking me to implement unlimited implemented methods. Here what I'll do is we'll just say Apple call and Apple recharge, okay. So to demonstrate that, I say we create a new class test phone, okay. Now see we have two classes and one sorry interface, okay. Now see what I can do here is if I say Android, okay, Android phone and D is equal to new Android phone and say Apple phone appl is equal to new Apple phone, okay. Now when I use and dot call, why, yeah, and dot, oh sorry, I forgot to add main function here, okay. So and dot call, okay, and say and dot recharge, and on the other hand Apple dot call and Apple dot call recharge, okay. So when we'll execute this code, see Android call and Android recharge, okay, and Apple call and Apple recharge. Now these both two classes are implementing the same interface. So to avoid that, what we can do here is I'll comment out all the code here, okay, and I'll say implementing interfaces, okay. Now see right now I was creating an object reference of a class, okay, Android phone, and for the other thing I was creating an object reference of Apple phone, okay. Now to avoid that and to make it simple, what we can do is, like, see we have interface named phone, so why not use phone, we create a reference new phone, okay. And now see if we try to create object of phone, it won't be creating, see it is now showing the functions, okay. But to use that, what we can do is we can use the implementing classes. Now Apple phone, okay, right now it will be calling, if I use new phone dot call and new phone dot recharge, see when I'll execute it, why it is showing me error, Oh, sorry. So when I'll execute it, see it is showing me Apple call and Apple recharge. Okay. Now for the same reference, what I'll do here is, let me first copy this line. Okay. And sorry. So now if I do something like new phone equals to new Android phone. Okay. So now if I execute this code, okay, then what happens here is, now you see Android call and Android recharge. Okay. You getting my point?
Yeah.
So now to relate it with drivers, what I'll do here is I'll create a new string. Okay, that is phone type.
The drivers are the browsers, is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Just be with me.
Keep
So
in mind.
yeah,
Glitch.
drivers are for browsers. Okay, so they interact with browsers directly. So we use drivers. Okay, so say phone type is equal to right now iPhone. Okay, and now again the same condition statement, but before that what we'll do here is we'll just declare this part. Okay, and now if say phone type dot equals, okay, and iPhone, then it would implement this part. Okay, so say right now we'll do one thing only, that is new phone equals to this one, and else if phone dot type say equals Android. Okay, and new phone equals new Android phone. Okay, now see, uh, now if I use phone, sorry, new phone dot call, okay, what happened here? Okay, and new phone dot recharge. Okay, now see, this code was lengthy. Okay, I used some part of it, but still it was lengthy. Okay, now I'll comment out this code. Now see what is happening here is, see, we used a string to mention the phone type. Okay, now we are using that string only to check which phone is it, be it iPhone or Android phone, according to that. Okay, and when like we are using now, like here we are pointing it to a particular class which we want to use. Okay, so when we'll execute this code, why it is showing me error? Wait a second. Phone may not have been initialized. New phone. Uh, okay, so right now the phone type is iPhone, so it is using this one. Okay, so if I change the phone type to say Android, okay, then it is showing me Android call and Android recharge. Okay, so in this case, in the case of Selenium, WebDriver is the interface which is being implemented by Firefox, Chrome, Edge, Event Firing WebDriver, and Internet Explorer driver, Opera driver, Remote Web driver, and Safari driver. These classes implement this interface. Okay, so wait a second. Yeah, so to show that, what we'll do here is we'll create a new object of WebDriver. Okay, and driver.
I
Okay,
didn't get that. What you just told now, in the Java doc.
so see, in the Java doc I showed you, this is the interface. Okay,
Okay. Are
this
they
interface.
already
It is
okay.
already made by Selenium. We'll just use it. Okay,
Okay.
so it is something like this, the interface phone. Okay, now it has defined some functions, but description is being has been made by Android and Apple. So
Oh,
the methods are different. So some say, and Apple is implementing it in a different way, and Android is implementing it in a different way, but the basic functionality is that we want calling facility. Okay,
uh-huh.
so that needs to be implemented by a manufacturer or any operating system. That has to be, that has to say that it is a phone. Okay,
Yeah.
so that needs to be implemented. The call and recharge function should be implemented by the implementing classes. Okay, so in this case, WebDriver is the interface, and Firefox driver and Chrome driver are the classes. Those are implementing that. Okay, so here, now to do that, what we'll do is driver dot equal to null, and now this part is okay. We'll remove this thing. Okay, and we'll remove this thing, and we'll remove this thing from here. Okay, now what actually happening is driver equal to new Firefox driver, driver equal to new Chrome driver, driver equal to new Internet Explorer driver. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now if we want to ask our browser to open a website for us, okay, so what we can do is driver dot get, okay, and say http google. Okay,
Yeah.
now when we'll execute this code, why it is showing me some error there where errors cannot make static reference to non-static. Okay, I'll move it inside, don't worry. Okay, so when we'll execute the code, see, we mentioned the browser name as Firefox, so it started opening Firefox. Okay,
Yeah.
so see, now the benefit of this code is that, like, why to mention the code again and again for different browsers? Now this, after this part, after this line, okay, after this part, the code will remain same. Only the thing, if we want to change the browser, we can change it here, and other implementing part would be done. Before that, if we had not implemented WebDriver, okay, then we have to mention the like each and every line of code here, like Firefox driver dot get, and say to close the browser, then driver dot quit, and here again. So it would increase the number of lines we had to write. Okay, even
Yeah.
thrice. Like if we are switching between three browsers, then we had to change it, write the like same code thrice, but different with different names. Okay, so to avoid that, we implemented this thing, and now after this thing, all the code is same, like say driver dot close. Okay, so and see, right now we'll change the browser to Chrome.
Why are you putting driver dot close?
uh, it is used to close the browser. I'll
Oh
show
yeah.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, so see, instance of Chrome has opened. Okay, and it is starting to load Google. Website has opened about, yeah, When it completely got opened, the next line executed driver.close. It closed the browser. You cannot see Chrome here now. The window that was opened, it is closed now. Okay. Now this is also a function to close, and we use quit in these days. And the difference between both is that close only like closes the particular window that we are working at right now, but quit completely closes the browser. It completely exits the browser. Okay. Yeah. So uh, now say so see now there are some functions. Say now going back to our phone. Okay. Now Android phone has a function that is Android specific. Say public void Android maps. Okay. And say Android. Okay. Now if we try to access it with the help of like say the interface. Okay. Like we have done it here. Okay. And we try to call. See, we are not getting hint for that. Android. We cannot implement or we cannot call the functions that are implement like created by the class. Okay. That are like manually created by the class. That is, we can call only those functions which are defined by interface. Okay. Like we can call only these two functions that has been defined by this interface. Say we create a new.
So
Pardon?
are those functions that we define, right?
Yeah.
Or are they built-in functions?
Like now say
This call recharge, are those built-in ones, or are these just named just functions that we define?
so see we are just describing sorry defining these functions that yeah these need to be used. Okay, that these need to be described. Okay, and now these classes are describing those. Okay. So now when I mentioned maps there, I had unimplemented methods and it showed me maps. Okay, but this Android maps, this is being defined in this class only. It is not like inherited from the interface. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the interface, you define the functions,
Yeah.
and then you implement those functions in the classes.
Yes, exactly. So now this function is a proprietary function. We call it as a proprietary function. Okay.
Hmm.
So
What's the meaning of that?
like
Proprietary.
this function,
Is it only the Android maps or all these three functions?
the only Android maps. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a proprietary function because we cannot call it with the help of the object reference from interface. Okay. We cannot call this
Uh,
Android maps function from phone interface. See, new phone was the like pointer from phone interface. Okay.
yeah.
And it had been assigned the object of Android. Okay.
Yeah.
So but we cannot call this function because it is a proprietary function, and that that can be only called from say in the class, like the reference from the class. Okay. So now to call that,
Now we are in where the test phone. Okay, that's
yeah,
another class.
yeah, we are in test phone, the another class we were discussing earlier. Okay. So
So,
say
uh,
hmm,
the
pardon?
code was in Android phone, so because it's not declared in interfaces, you're saying we cannot use it.
Yes, exactly. Like any function that has been declared in interface, we can use it with the help of like, see, this is the object reference from phone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this reference is not from Android phone or Apple phone, but these functions are implemented by Android phone and Apple phone. Okay, I think
Yeah.
so you're getting confused. So
A little,
yeah,
now I was thinking,
see,
before, like
yes.
when we have a few different classes, within those classes, we are able to, aren't we able to share the variables and the methods? The functions, methods, both are the same, aren't they?
See, this this is our interface. Okay, now
Yeah.
interface in simple terms, what is interface? It it tells it gives structure to the application. Say, okay, so like it is giving structure that, yeah, all the implementing classes should have call function, should have recharge function, and should have maps function.
Okay.
Okay, they
Yeah.
they should have, they cannot ignore these functions. They cannot ignore to implement these functions. Like they have to implement these functions. If they are implementing phone class, they have to implement these functions. Say, now you have a phone. Okay, you can call. Okay, there is no phone from which you cannot call.
If
Oh,
they are implementing
so,
phone function, phone
so
class,
yeah, so Android phone, see, Android phone implements phone. Okay, see, Android phone is implementing phone. Now phone is an interface, so this class is implementing this interface. So it has to forcibly define these functions. Okay, and in the same way, Apple phone is also implementing phone, so it has to define all these three functions: call, recharge, and maps.
okay.
Okay, so see, now like now like phone has these three functions, but we have different features on our phones also. Android has different features, iPhones have their own features. Okay, so like the basic features can be called from the like the reference from interface, but we cannot call the proprietary functions from the reference from interface. See, this is a reference. This is pointing to object, right, Apple phone object here, and this is pointing to Android phone object here. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, you getting my point? And we discussed in the last lecture na, that this is the pointer and this is pointing to this.
Yeah, that I can understand.
Yeah.
So now,
S-
now where are we?
so where
Test phone,
was, yeah,
test phone
yeah,
class.
yeah,
Yes.
test phone class. So if I try to call the functions that are not defined by this interface, okay, we cannot see phone. Okay, phone, but there is no other function named as Android maps. If I try to write, we cannot see. But if I say Android phone, a phone, new Android phone. Okay, and now if I try to call Android maps, I can call. You can see here I'm not able to call. Okay, Android phone here. Okay, we cannot call proprietary functions from interface. Okay, to implement those functions we need to declare the object, we need to declare the object reference from the particular, from the same class. Okay, see, Firefox has almost same function, so I cannot show you there right now. So see, like on a Apple phone has iMaps. Okay, so okay, so if I try to implement, see, here, if I write the code like new phone dot iMaps, I cannot call this function because this is a proprietary function. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay.
now if I want to call that, if I create the object reference from Apple phone and iPhone new Apple phone. Okay, and if I try to call iMaps now, iPhone dot iMaps, I can call. If I execute this code, it is showing me some errors. Okay, so these two are the errors because we cannot use these. Okay, so now see,
IMAX was in which class? Apple.
Apple phone. Now, so this was an Apple phone. Okay, the iMaps function is an Apple phone, and Android Maps is an Android phone.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just
Now,
yeah,
but what was my question? So, so an object. So if you go back to test phone, that's where
test
we
phone.
wrote down the
Wait a second.
test.
Yeah, we're in test phone right now.
Yeah. So if so over there, so the Android Maps proprietary function, is
Android.
it only, yeah, it's only, is it only be able to access by Android phone pointer or reference, or
Exactly.
can that also be accessed by the iPhone
No, no.
reference?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, if you have a phone and that is say iPhone, now it has some specific applications. Those are available in iPhone only, and those
Mm-hmm.
are being developed by Apple.
Yeah,
Okay, and on the other hand, say you have Android phone. Now Google is developing those applications, and Google has made those applications available to Google their own phone only, like the Pixel series or say Nexus series. Okay, so see, those are being developed and made for those phones only, like the Nexus ones or the Pixel ones only. Those applications cannot be accessed on iPhone. Okay, but
so are those standard functions, or are those just functions that we just kind of we,
see,
like we
consider this as a
can
parent class.
uh, we
Eh,
can make.
consider this as a parent. Okay, it has in now Android phone and Apple phone has inherited these two functions from it, and they
Yeah.
forcibly have to implement these functions. See, this is also implementing call and recharge. This is also implementing call and recharge.
Charge. Okay. But they
Okay.
are implementing in their own way, like Apple would implement in
Yeah.
what suits for
Yeah.
Apple.
Uh,
No, my question, I understand what you're saying. My question is like, I understand what works in Apple doesn't work in Android, but in terms of like, in terms of Java
yeah.
and Selenium, like this is a, what can I say? This is a class, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
This is
Apple phone.
see. iPhone. The phone is interface. This is just an interface. It is defining that the
Yeah,
implementing
that's
class should have these things. Minimum,
yes,
like these are the set of rules that have like the minimum requirements. Like these are the minimum requirements that the other person has to implement.
yes,
Okay.
got it. So, but Android phone.java and Apple phone.java, those are just two classes.
These are just two classes, and these implement phone. So the phone
Right.
is defining that you have to implement call and recharge. Okay, so see here it is overriding that, and it is defining call and recharge.
Yeah.
Okay, now it has its own definition, Android has its own definition, and Apple has its own definition for it.
Okay.
These both have their own definitions for the functions. They have nothing to do with the other. Okay, it is just to remove the problems that may arise in future if say we have to switch to other like other method. Okay, and say right now we were using say Android phone. Okay, and say if we switch to Apple phone, so if the Apple phone does not have call function, or it is being implemented with a different name, so it would not be easy for us to understand how to use it. Okay, how to do it. So now they are implementing the same thing but in their own way, like they have to make the phone available, the call available, but they can implement it in their own way, but they should allow us to call.
Okay.
Okay, so in this,
Um,
call and recharge should be available. Okay, and they Android phone is implementing Android call and Android recharge. Okay, and Apple phone is saying that Apple call and Apple recharge, but the function name are same. See, call
yeah.
recharge, call recharge. Okay,
Yes.
these are inherited from this interface. So say if I uh, mention another function, public void, say SMS. Okay, so now these two classes have to implement SMS also.
Hmm.
Okay,
So it automatically comes.
yeah.
It's
N-
it's automatically coming. Okay.
yeah, it is automatically coming because it has to be implemented.
Hmm.
Okay, so
But other than what's in the interface,
yeah,
uh, I both classes can add their own functions like that are just unique to that particular phone type.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh, why are we writing that function inside like the public class Android phone implements phone instead of like before when we yesterday when we did the functions uh, we used to write it um, like we used to have the what is that the public static void main
wait
that
a minute.
function, and then after that we'll just if we want to write a function we just write a function. But here
You're talking
uh,
about this thing?
which one? Yeah, like with the public static the void main, that function, that's the main function. But apart from that function, say we have another yeah, card not if we take that card of Java maybe.
This thing.
So we have yeah, like public car or public car with a parameter.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is a constructor.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Or for the constructor, like what are about the refuel function? Say it's not a static function; it's only a just a function.
Yeah, exactly. See,
Uh,
this is something that every car has to do. Okay.
yes, yes.
Now, say,
So,
the
yeah, just one more question. So
yeah,
if this was, say, this was not static, it was refuel,
yeah.
can, without, it's not a static function, can that be used by another class?
If it is non-static, still it can be used by other class. Okay, with the help of object. Okay.
Object, okay.
Yeah. So see, what's happening around here is
What
Yeah,
that
I got your point.
function.
Why you're getting confused? I got your point. Okay, so see, this defines that a phone should be should allow us to call, it should allow us to recharge, and it should allow us to send SMSs. Okay.
Yes.
Now it is telling us that these are the list of rules that needs to be implemented by other classes. It is not defining those functions, like it is not describing those functions, say how to implement it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, see, in this car class it is being described that yes how it is implemented. Okay, here I have described it. Okay, this part is definition. If I write it like public, I'll copy it. Okay, this is definition. Okay, and this is description. Okay, this part is description. If we use it like this is description, and if we use it like this, then this is definition. Okay, this is just to define that yeah this is something, but it has not its description that how it is doing something. Okay,
Uh, no, I'm not getting you. Sorry.
see, it is just telling us that a phone should have call function, a phone
Yeah, that could,
should have a
okay.
recharge function, and a phone should have
Yeah.
SMS function. These three facilities, these three functions should be implemented. Should be forcibly implemented by the implementing classes.
Yes.
Okay, so Android phone is implementing phone,
Mm.
so it has to implement call. It has to like define recharge also, and it has to define SMS also.
Yeah.
Okay, now
What is
it
the advantage of having that interface? Like, say we have the Android phone class, Apple
yes.
phone class. So is it and both are having like I understand both are having the call, recharge, and SMS. It's common. So, when we are elaborating, like when we are writing the function, right? The call, it's a function, isn't it?
The call is the function, but see, it has its own working in Android and it has its own working in Apple. Okay.
Apple, yes, go ahead. I understand, but
Yeah.
still, yeah, like if we could go to the Android class and write its own working unit to Android, and Apple class, we write those functions in its own unique way to Apple. What's the advantage of having that interface? Like, why can't we just have two classes, Android and Apple, and just add those functions and write the unique functionality for each respective function?
Okay, I got a point. So you're saying that why? What is the need of interface when these both are doing the same thing? Like Android is implementing call and Apple is implementing call, but they're in their own way. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
but the thing is that see, if a developer is developing something and he forgets to define a function that has to be used. Okay,
yeah.
now like sorry, so he has to implement it, but that is needed and he has forgot to implement it. But if he has used interface, then it would tell him that yeah this function needs to be implemented. Okay.
Oh, okay, right. So there's nothing with the memory allocation or any other advantage
No, no, no,
over
no.
having an interface.
It we are trying like here the line of code is we are decreasing the line of code. See, in this dynamic browser, okay, if I had not implemented this WebDriver, okay, I'll omit it, okay, and say string dynamic browser equals to Chrome, okay. Now Firefox driver Okay, and F driver equals to new Firefox driver. Here C driver Chrome driver, C driver is equal to new Chrome driver, and Internet Explorer driver, IE driver is equal to new Internet Explorer driver. This was our last code. Okay, now see, this is something we need to write again and again now.
Yeah. A
Say
lot of code.
F driver, sorry, F driver dot get Google Chrome, and C driver dot get Google Chrome, sorry, google.com, and IE driver dot get google.com. Okay, and say other things also, like after opening this website, say it navigates to, now see, there are two functions. I'll tell you this function also. F driver dot navigate. Okay, now it has to navigate to https, say http, and say facebook.com. Okay, and in the same way, C driver dot navigate,
What's the difference between navigate and get?
it navigates to the particular website, and gets, get is to, get was a old function and navigate is a new function. Almost the functionality is same, but there is a difference, a little bit difference. Okay, and say this, and IED driver dot navigate, instead of using navigate we should close the browser. Okay, so see, now see the lines of code now. Okay, it is just opening the browser, it is asking the browser to go to the site and close the browser. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we'll execute it, still the code will execute and it will open Chrome, because we have mentioned Chrome here. Okay,
Yeah.
and see, my system is a bit slow. Wait a minute, I should close the unnecessary windows. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened here, why it is not running? We'll try to run it. Okay, it is trying to, we'll try to run it again. Wait a minute, is there any other instance? Yeah, I have to stop it. CHROME. Okay, my system is very slow to right now. I don't know what happened. Wait a minute. Okay, so it has some problem. I will execute the code again now. See, it is opening Chrome now. Okay,
Yeah.
So see, after it opened Google, it tried to open. We didn't ask it to other site, so it closed the browser. Okay. So say we change the browser name to which one to use. Say Firefox. Okay. And see now these two lines are being implemented again and again in a different way. Okay.
Yeah.
So now it has opened Google here. Okay. And now it will close the browser in 1, 2, 3, and it's gone. Not gone. Okay, it's gone. Okay. So see, this is something being implemented again and again. We have to write this code in a different way. The same code is being written but with different object reference. Okay. And again the same code is being written in a with a different object reference. So with the help of interface, we can like avoid this part, and what we can do is
Mm-hmm.
we just implement the WebDriver interface. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of using Firefox driver F driver, we just use driver. Okay. And here driver dot equals to this, and here driver equals to new Internet Explorer driver. Okay. Now the object reference has been provided with the object of the particular class that has implemented this WebDriver. Okay.
In
So
which interface have you defined that?
WebDriver, and see, this is a WebDriver interface,
Mm-hmm.
and when we'll open this, it has some functions defined here. Okay.
Oh,
Say,
it's a interface defined by Selenium.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So this is interface defined by Selenium, and even these classes like Firefox driver and Chrome driver and Internet Explorer driver, these are also
mhm.
defined by Selenium. Okay,
Selenium.
they have made these classes and interfaces. Okay, now these three classes, Internet Explorer driver, Chrome driver, and Firefox driver, all these three
Mm-hmm.
classes implement same interface, that is WebDriver interface. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when we'll open it,
Those three are in the WebDriver interface. That's what you're
yeah,
saying.
exactly. See, here in this, in the Java docs, see, this is the interface WebDriver. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All known implementing classes: Chrome driver, Edge driver, event firing WebDriver, Firefox driver, Internet Explorer driver, Opera driver, remote WebDriver, and Safari driver.
The browser.
These are the drivers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
These are the classes which interact with browser.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
they act as intermediator between our IDE and browser. Okay. So like these act as interface between Eclipse and the browser. They allow us to interact with browsers. Okay. So you'll be getting things slowly, and tomorrow like we'll be discussing like how Selenium works on page. Okay, so you'll get to know how these things are being implemented, like how a Firefox driver is enabling us to interact with Firefox. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, Firefox driver, Chrome driver, and Internet Explorer driver, all these three and all the implementing classes of WebDriver in WebDriver interface, these enable us to interact with the their particular browsers. Like Firefox driver is enabling us to interact with Firefox, Chrome is enabling us to interact with Chrome only, and
Mm-hmm.
Internet Explorer driver is enabling us to interact with Internet Explorer only.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
now that the interface is there, WebDriver interface, we can just make a what is that? Make so like what you have said here, driver is equal to new Firefox. The driver is that a reference?
WebDriver, like driver is the reference, okay, object
Okay.
reference, and we have
Object.
not, yeah, object reference, and we have not allotted it any object here. See, null. It has null value. Okay.
Reference to WebDriver interface.
Now we are like providing the object here in this code. For
Okay.
if the browser is Firefox, then this code will execute. Then driver will get the object of Firefox driver.
Okay.
Okay. If the browser is Chrome, then it will get the object of Chrome driver. And if the
Mm-hmm.
object is Internet Explorer, then it will get the object of Internet Explorer driver. Okay. And see,
Yeah.
after implementing WebDriver, we need not to use these functions here. Okay. See, now we are not having like the calling these functions here, and we will be calling these functions here. Okay. So driver dot get and driver dot close. See, there were 6 lines of code earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now after implementing the WebDriver, the code has been shrunk to 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm. So it selects whichever browser it is. Depending on the browser, that browser will open,
Yeah.
and then the command line executes Google, whatever the browser is, it Google would open on that particular browser.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Okay. So this is for today,
yeah. Thank
and
you.
we can do one more
Yes.
thing here. Say we don't want to close. We can close it manually. And say get title. Okay. So if we do this thing, okay.
Mhm.
So when we'll execute it, wait a minute. And Firefox is a bit slow right now. And oh, sorry, I forgot to implement syso here. So system out. Okay, system out, and say driver dot get title. Okay, so we'll change the browser to Chrome.
Why is that?
Firefox is a bit slow right now in my system, that's why I
Okay.
changed it. Yeah. So see here, it has returned us Google. Now this was written here in the page. The title was Google. Okay.
The one you find here.
Yeah, the
Okay.
one I called here, that is driver dot get title. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if I try to open Facebook here, okay, and if I run it, then it will show me the title from Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And see, Facebook login or something, sign up. Yeah, Facebook login or sign up. Okay. So it has not returned me it yet because the page is still loading. Okay. See, the page is still loading, and it is loaded. Yeah, it has loaded. Finished loading. So see, now this like this function returns us the value of the page title. Now it is returning as Facebook login or sign up. Okay.
Yeah.
So like we have to implement many functions and procedures. So with the help of interface, we are, you know, uh, decreasing the lines of code we are writing. Otherwise, we have to write the equal number of lines in every if else statement we have to use. Okay.
Yeah. So here we were using a interface that was already defined in Selenium, but
Yes.
later for the phones we made an interface.
Yes. Exactly. Okay.
And okay, what else? Still had that confusing point that Apple phone and the phone was the interface, isn't it?
The
Phone.java
phone is an
is
interface. Okay.
interface and
These three are the functions that are defined by it. Okay. And it says that every implementing class
mm-hmm.
has to describe these three functions. You
Yes,
can find these three functions here: call, recharge, SMS.
yes,
In Apple also call, recharge, SMS.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So these three functions need to be implemented by all the implementing classes. Okay.
yeah.
So
So the Android okay, and the Android maps, what type of function did you say that
it
was?
is a proprietary function.
Um,
Okay.
okay. And okay. So yeah. Can you give me a few seconds and just
No issues.
tell you what my doubt is?
No issues. No issues.
Yeah. So so is there a particular like particular maybe I'm not seeing it because we haven't written so much code in like in the phone no not phone, sorry, in the browser which you showed earlier. There we saw a reduction of code lines when you use the interface,
Exactly.
but in this Apple Android and Apple phone, it's only the three interfaces are defined, and we are just we are well we are calling those three functions in the same classes,
See,
but
see, like earlier we were doing. See, this was the line of code we were doing. Okay, call, recharge, and say and dot SMS. Okay, and Apple. Okay, so the lines of code here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and
where are we defined the call, recharge, and SMS in the
see,
yeah,
Android phone, okay, and Apple phone.
yeah, yeah.
Android phone's object reference has is and, okay,
Mhm.
and dot call, and dot recharge, and dot SMS. This one is calling the functions from Android, okay, and this one is calling the functions from Apple, okay.
Yeah.
Now in
Where is the call, recharge, and SMS defined? Is it in the interface? So
it these are described here. So Android phone and Apple phone. You can see these are defined here. Okay, like
okay.
we over like see, this is the annotation. This overrides the last function. Okay, like if it has some implementation, like say it says something. Okay, say only call. Okay, so I'll
Mhm.
define it here like this. Okay, that's not showing me. Leave it. So say it is some. It just tells us that to call. Now Android call is implementing call. Android call
Mm.
and Apple is implementing Apple call. Okay,
Yeah.
but the name of the function is same. This
Yes.
line is same, exactly same. See,
Yes.
okay, but they are defining it in their own way.
On way. Yes. Correct.
Okay, so they have their own procedures, they have their own functionalities, they define it in their own way, but the name is same, so that we should be able to call it easily.
Yes.
Okay, now these names are defined by interface.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
still confused?
Yeah. I think I'm getting there. And then, like the lines you have commented. So, when you are
Here,
when you
yeah,
go back to, yeah. So when you were doing this little part where you have commented the lines, was the call, recharge, and SMS still defined in the phone interface,
yeah.
or it was defined?
See,
Okay.
see. I got your point. Where you're confused, I feel like. Okay, new phone dot SMS. See, phone only defines three functions: call, recharge,
Yeah.
and SMS, but it has no description for those.
Yes.
Okay, it is just an interface, and Android phone and Apple phone, these are implementing this interface phone here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so and see here also. So when we create object reference of phone, okay, so when we call, see, we assign it a object of Apple phone. Okay, now phone has this like Apple phone has same functions as a phone, minimum the same functions. Okay, like the phone has defined SMS, call, and recharge, so we can call these functions from that object also, object reference also. Okay, we can call these. See, phone, new phone. Okay,
Okay.
phone is the class, new phone is the object reference. Okay,
Yeah.
it is pointing to Apple phone right now.
Okay.
So if it is pointing to Apple phone right now, it will call the call function from Apple phone and recharge from
Oh.
Apple recharge, and SMS from again Apple class. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if we change it to Android, okay, if we assign it the object of Android, okay,
Yeah.
then it will be calling the function of Android, like Android call, Android recharge, and Android SMS.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do one
Yeah.
thing just to simplify it. Okay, so what is happening here is, now see, uh, yeah, see, right now, okay, in these 7 to 8 lines, okay, what is happening here is, when I'll execute it, I have to omit this code, this code, and this code, and this code. Okay, is there anything left? No. So see, when I execute it first time, when see, see here, so right now the phone has object of Apple. Okay, and
Yeah.
the phone has object of Apple, so it is calling call, recharge, and SMS from Apple. Call and recharge from Apple. Okay, why it is
Mm-hmm.
not calling SMS from Apple? Because we have not defined SMS here. Okay, it is calling, but there is no description, so
Mm-hmm.
the code went blank. Okay, so see Apple SMS. Then we changed the object of new phone to Android. Okay, when we called the same like when we use the same code, okay, now it is calling the functions from Android phone. Okay,
Yes.
we did not define a new reference here. We are using the old reference with the new object.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
still confused?
Yeah. Yeah. So far, so good.
Try it at your end, and then I think so you'll get to understand what is actually being happening here. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then when we have the separate the proprietary function in each of those respective classes like that.
So
Because
yes. So if we have any proprietary functions, we cannot call those functions with the help of this reference. I'm sorry. So we cannot call these functions with the help of this reference. Okay, but we can call those functions with the help of these. Okay, so yeah, and like if we want to call those, we can call those from this reference a phone, because the a phone is a reference from Android phone. It is not from phone. Okay,
yeah. So then you have to you can okay, okay, that's another new reference, yeah?
yeah,
iPhone, not
yeah,
new.
a yes,
Okay. So we have make a new reference, and then with that reference we access the that proprietary function.
yes.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to understand it. Yeah.
Once you'll write this code, you'll understand what is actually happening around here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So when I'm writing code, are you do you have any have you put like any sort of exercises to practice these concepts or
You will be getting exercises from day 5. Okay.
they're fine?
Yeah. Still, you have exercise. You have to implement this code. This is also exercise for you. Okay. Try to implement it in your own way. Okay. Try to access everything like the way I have defined it. Android phone and its own reference and object. Okay. So try to use these directly, and then with the help of interface. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would really want the video, not like looking, copying what, line by line, but then I wouldn't remember to do everything by myself.
You want it for reference. Exactly.
Yes,
So start watching these two videos, the first and second video, and
yes,
in the meantime, I'll give you the link for this video also. Okay.
yes, please, because I have everything fresh in my head. But
Okay.
if I'm seeing that like after a day or two, then because now I have my questions and my doubts, so
Okay.
if I immediately not if I immediately go with it, then I
Okay.
will remember. But again, so we are not having so today's Friday, so Saturday and Sunday we are not doing the
Lectures. There are
training.
no lectures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Again Monday.
Yes. So you can watch these videos in the meantime.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
can do the 1 and 2, but if I have it
You'll get it by tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning,
Yeah, you'll get the third video by tomorrow morning. Even
please.
yeah, I'll try to give it by today evening also. Okay.
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah.
It will be a great help if because otherwise what happens is after some time I would forget it, and then I have to again, yeah, go through it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
So don't worry, you'll get it as soon as possible.